Today, we are diving into the key lessons from Raj Shamani's book, Build, Don't Talk. This is basically a guide to all the essential skills school really should have taught you, but didn't. And it's packed with some pretty counterintuitive advice for actually winning in the real world.
Right out of the gate, Shamani doesn't pull any punches. His whole argument starts here. Our schools are great at memorizing things, but they're terrible at teaching us how to actually think. He says they're crushing the two things that make us human: our ability to imagine and our ability to feel.
And that's exactly where this book comes in. It's positioned as the antidote to that whole broken system. It's designed to give you the practical, real-world skills you need to actually go out there and turn your big ideas into something real, something you can actually touch.
So, let's get real for a second. What's the actual disconnect between what we learn in a classroom and what it takes to succeed out there?
I mean, just look at this list. School gets us ready for exams, sure. But when did you ever get a grade on negotiating a raise, or selling an idea you were passionate about? Or, and this is a huge one, how to handle falling flat on your face? Shamani's point is that these are the skills that actually define your life, and they're completely missing from the syllabus.
So before you can start building anything new, Shamani says you've got to do some demolition work first. It's time to tear down some of that so-called conventional wisdom that's probably holding you back.
Okay, this one is a big one. We're all told, be goal-oriented, right? But Shamani says that staring only at the finish line can actually paralyze you. The real magic, the real progress, happens when you fall in love with the process, the little things you do every single day. Your goals are just the result. Your habits are the engine that gets you there.
And here's another one that might feel a little backward. We're taught to analyze everything to death before we make a move. Shamani calls that way of thinking a prison. It just leads to more thinking and no doing. He argues it's way better to just trust your gut and take that bold first step. That's where you actually learn something.
And let's be honest, so much of that overthinking comes down to this, right? This deep, deep fear of what other people will think. We're desperate for approval. But real growth, the good stuff, only happens when you're willing to look a little foolish. The only person's approval you really need is your own. So, once you've kind of cleared out those old, unhelpful ideas, how do you actually get started? Well, Shamani has this really provocative framework for it. He calls it Build Like a Thief. Now, I know, this sounds totally wrong, but his point is so powerful. This constant pressure we feel to be 100% original from day one, it's a trap. Nothing is truly new. Every great idea is just a remix of what came before it. The key isn't to plagiarize, it's to get inspired. It's about figuring out the why behind something that works, not just blindly copying the what. And his process is dead simple. It's just 3 steps. First, find what you admire and just start imitating it. That's how you learn the basics. Second, you have to ask for help. Shamani calls begging the ultimate student power. And third, as we just talked about, you have to be totally okay with looking stupid while you figure it all out.
And this is the beautiful payoff. Even if you try your absolute best to copy something perfectly, you just can't. Your own style, your own voice, your own unique spin will always inevitably shine through. It's just like your signature. It becomes yours in the act of doing it.
Okay, so you've unlearned the bad habits. You've built something new. Now what? How do you get it out there so people actually notice? This is where we get into the real engine of growth: selling and branding. Shamani breaks selling down into a super simple formula: P plus E plus U. P is for preparation. You know your stuff inside and out. E is for emotion. You connect with a person's fear of missing out or their dream of a better life. And U is for urgency. You give them a real reason to decide now. Think about it. Selling a gym membership isn't just about the equipment. That's preparation. It's about selling the feeling of confidence. That's emotion. And offering a discount that ends on Friday? That's urgency. You know, in today's world, everyone's an expert thanks to Google. So the old school, pushy sales tactics just don't work. The number one thing you're selling, no matter what it is trust. And you build it by being visible, by doing what you say you're going to do, and by always over-delivering. And this leads directly into personal branding. The best way to build that trust isn't by creating some fake, polished persona. It's by being unapologetically you. Your experiences, your personality, your flaws, that's your niche. That's what lets people really connect with you. So, we've gone through unlearning, through building, and through selling. Now let's bring this all home with the single most important idea in the entire book.
This is the one mindset shift that changes the whole game. This is it. This is the heart of the whole book. True success, real wealth. It doesn't come from passively consuming things. It comes from actively creating them. Whatever it is you love to consume, videos, articles, music, whatever, the big switch happens when you decide to become a producer of that very same thing. Now here's the difference in a nutshell. A consumer is always gathering knowledge, watching content, and spending money. A producer applies that knowledge, creates the content, and earns the money. It's the fundamental switch from dreaming to doing. It's about building, not just talking about it.
And so the book leaves us with this really powerful, really direct challenge. It's not about what you're going to build next year or when you finally feel ready. It's about taking that first, maybe even tiny step of courage and starting today. So the only question left is, what will it be?